It's time to be mentally tough on Dave Day with Standard Speaker sports editor Dave Seaman. Dave, we're always sharp mentally here, and you have to be this time of year for our local athletes. It's make it or break it time for championships and that. And Jessica McClellan of MMI Golf, she's going to the PIAA state championships, first time in her career. Dave, very, very good golfer. It was a cold day at regionals when she had to qualify, wind blowing everywhere. She was in the clubhouse already. I would have wanted to have a sandwich, Dave, to go home, to just relax. She had to go to a playoff hole, and that's where she won it with a big, big par putt. And you did a big feature story on her earlier. You said great kid and very talented golfer.
Yeah, there's no doubt. She's been golfing since she's 3 years old, so she's been around the golf course. I don't know if that prepares her for a day like she had on Monday where, like you said, it was windy, it was cold, and the last few weeks have been warm and, some mist and some rain but some muggy conditions, so you have to go from that. But that's the nature of high school golf in the area. I mean, you got to be mentally tough, and a lot of conditions that you have to be ready for. And Jessica was up for the challenge. It didn't look like she was going to make it, but then when you find out you have a playoff hole, you have to, recharge the batteries and get back out there and do what you can do. And knowing Jessica, like meeting her a few times, I knew she'd be up for the challenge.
Dave, regardless, we're actually recording this on Tuesday, regardless of what happens in the game tonight, your Dodgers will still have a lead in the NLCS. We were talking at the Hazleton area tennis match, and you said they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, they have. They seem like they have it back together. They did have a grueling stretch there at the end of August into September where they lost 11 in a row, 16 out of 17, and they still won 100-plus games during the regular season. They got back together at the end of the season, started finding their groove again. Against Arizona, they played a great series. The pitching was really good, and the bullpen's been splendid. And if you look for a theme of the playoffs in the last several years, it's been bullpens. Teams with the outstanding bullpens have carried the way. Right now, their bullpen is pitching a little bit better than the Cubs, and the Cubs Joe Maddon's trying to mix and match pitchers in the bullpen, and the Dodgers seem to have their lineup set up for what they want to throw out there.
Yeah, as you look at the Cubs offense, Dave, they've struggled a bit. Joe said, they'll have some games where they put it up, but he said that's really where they have to get it going. Of course, the Yankees, we'll see what happens in their series. They might be tied 2-2 by the time this time airs. And Aaron Judge, man, I just like watching him play, even as a Red Sox fan, running in the walls, going crazy. A lot to be excited about in the Bronx for the future as well. Dave, in the future this Saturday, it's a whiteout in Happy Valley. College Game Day, ESPN's College Game Day is going to be in town. The national spotlight squarely on the newly ranked number 2 Nittany Lions, and this is it, make or break for them too. The stretch part of their season, really tough schedule in the Big Ten East with Michigan, Ohio State, and Michigan State coming up. It starts with Michigan this Saturday. Penn State heavily favored her. John Eric Polite saying he was surprised that a lot of people are talking about Penn State maybe running away with this. Dave, I think they have a chance if the offense could finally put it all together.
They can, but they got to be wary of the Michigan defense, which is very aggressive, and they have not seen a defense like this with the combination of speed and the athletes on that side of the ball. And Michigan is definitely going to make them earn every yard of the way. If they take out Saquon Barkley, like other teams have tried to do over the past few weeks, it's going to be up to Trace McSorley to hit the open receivers, hot receivers. If they have one-on-one coverage, they got to gain separation from those receivers. And I think a key factor in the game is Mike Gesicki. If he's healthy and 100% to go, that's a tough matchup for anybody. And Lions could have a mismatch in that situation and get him in space. And he can also run when he catches the ball. Maybe pass the ball to Barkley out of the backfield too. But like I said, Michigan's defense, you can't sleep on the Michigan defense.
Especially because Penn State has struggled a bit with that offensive line and that. They've also struggled in the field goal kicking game, Dave. So if Michigan could keep it close, look out for that. Here's my bottom line, Dave. Penn State's turnover margin, plus 12, and they've created some big turnovers early in games against Northwestern, against Indiana, against Pitt, that have kind of dug the offense out of a little bit of trouble. I think that'll be key as well. Notre Dame playing against USC. Both of these teams, the Fighting Irish Nittany Lions, off last week. Here's Notre Dame's chance to prove themselves in 2017 as well.
Yeah, the Irish have, like Penn State, they have a tough stretch of the schedule coming up. Again, they're number 13 in the country, and really the schedule's laid out for them perfectly. We win a couple games right now, starting with USC, and the Irish are certainly back in the playoff mix. Their only loss this season was to Georgia by 1 point at home. We see how well Georgia has played all year. They're up to number 3 in the country too. So that's not a loss to certainly be embarrassed about. So the Irish have the season ahead of them. There's no doubt about it. And USC at home, that's always an electric atmosphere in South Bend. The Irish have not fared super well against the Trojans in years past, so now it's a time for them to get a win here and then go on to the rest of the season. But again, the season shakes out well for Notre Dame. You could be talking about them in the playoffs as well.
Think they get by USC?
I do. I really think the Irish are going to win this week.
And do you have a prediction for the Penn State game?
Yeah, I do. I think Penn State wins. I think it's a close game. I think it's a close game until Penn State maybe tacks on a late touchdown. I say like a 24-14. I don't think Penn State's offense is. It's not that it's clicking on all cylinders, but they're resourceful.
All right, Dave, thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week. And remember to look out for Dave's articles in the Standard Speaker, and we'll keep you up to date on local sports too right here on SSPTV News.